Hello. Today I will tell you a story about a family that at one moment lost love and happiness. Some say it's all just fiction, while others claim to personally know these people and are certain of the reality of this story. After watching the video to the end, you'll decide for yourself whether to believe what you'll hear next. I can only promise that this story will definitely not leave you indifferent. Every person dreams of a luxurious and wealthy life, of dizzying success and a high position in society. Everyone also wants to be loved and wishes health and happiness for their loved ones. Fortunately, one doesn't exclude the other. Many wealthy people are happy in marriage and are proud of their children. But imagine having to choose between wealth and family happiness. What would tip the scales? What are you willing to sacrifice for a luxurious life? If you think making such a choice is easy, it's only because you've never been in the situation the O'Malley family found themselves in. This story began almost 100 years ago, back in 1920. At that time, the global economy experienced a major crisis after World War I and began gradually recovering. Robin O'Malley was a young and ambitious Irish businessman whose fortune was growing rapidly. In those days, Ireland was fighting for its independence from the United Kingdom, and O'Malley was the main supplier of gunpowder, the most sought-after commodity in wartime. After the war, one would think his business would decline, but that didn't happen. On the contrary, O'Malley expanded his business to other countries, and a couple of zeros were added to his fortune. Many speculated about the secret of his success. Was it his charisma, or was he simply favored by luck? It seemed that Robin himself didn't ponder this question. He just enjoyed his success. But what good is a fortune if there's no one to share it with? Robin O'Malley turned out to be lucky not only in business, but also in his personal life. He met a beautiful American, Janet, who was a model. Feelings between them ignited immediately, and the lovers soon got married. The young spouses had everything for a happy life: love, youth, and immense wealth. Janet reveled in luxury, and her life became a fairy tale. However, soon after the wedding, Robin made a mistake for the first time in his life, and his business was in jeopardy. For a while, the young family faced a major financial crisis, and naysayers claimed that O'Malley would never recover his former fortune. However, Robin managed to turn things around very quickly, and within 2 years, his income multiplied several times. But that's not all. The family announced the most joyful news. They were expecting their first child. Janet gave birth to a beautiful girl named Charlotte. Robin adored his daughter. The little girl had everything a young child could wish for. Of course, like every father, he wanted to protect her from everything bad. But acquaintances noticed that in his effort to shield Charlotte, Robin went to absurd lengths. Several doctors and a dozen nurses moved into their home to monitor the girl's health. The child didn't go anywhere without protection. Apart from bodyguards, 4 ferocious Dobermans guarded Charlotte and could easily tear apart any stranger who approached her. But Robin feared not only people but also evil spirits. He engaged various magicians, clairvoyants, and shamans to protect her from the evil eye. Those around Robin seriously worried if the young father had lost his mind. But soon they decided that, as often happens with wealthy people, he had his eccentricities. Time flew by very fast. When Charlotte turned 6, she didn't differ much from other girls her age. Maybe she was a tad happier because she had everything other kids could only dream of. But the household staff was very surprised by Janet's attitude toward her daughter. Unlike Robin, she wasn't particularly affectionate toward Charlotte. It wouldn't be fair to say that the woman didn't love her daughter. She just treated her rather coolly. Daily, Janet observed Charlotte's pranks from a distance, sitting on the balcony and smoking one cigarette after another. The staff felt they knew the reason. Due to her pregnancy, Janet had to give up her modeling career. Perhaps this sacrifice was too great for her, and deep down, she resented her daughter for having to forget her ambitions. However hard Robin tried to protect his daughter, one day, a mysterious illness struck the child. The girl took a very long time to recover, and none of the doctors could help. Even the most outstanding physicians struggled to diagnose her condition, and you can imagine how difficult it is to convey in words the grief the father experienced. And not just him. Everyone in the household, friends of the family, in short, everyone who knew Charlotte, was very concerned and hoped for the girl's swift recovery. Only Janet seemed the calmest person in the house. It seemed the mother was enduring her daughter's illness very stoically. With time, everyone except Robin had lost hope for Charlotte's recovery. But one night, a miracle occurred. The girl suddenly effortlessly got up from bed and calmly began walking around the room. She looked perfectly healthy, as if she had just woken up from a deep sleep. But then she emitted such a terrifying roar that only a wild animal could produce. Everyone in the house woke up to this scream, and it became clear that Charlotte's awakening was not a joyful event at all. And it wasn't the young O'Malley, the darling of the entire household, who had woken up. Something horrifying and unknown had awakened. From that moment, Robin realized that they needed to seek help not from doctors, but from spiritual leaders. Many priests of different faiths gathered in his house. They were all convinced Charlotte's body was possessed by an evil spirit. The situation worsened with each passing day. The girl became increasingly aggressive, attacking people and smashing everything in the house if they opposed her. Soon, she stopped speaking in her childish voice altogether. It seemed that from her lips came the hoarse voice of a 40-year-old man. Charlotte became a source of fear, not only for the servants, but even for the ferocious Dobermans that had guarded her since infancy. Her inhuman screams made the fierce dogs cower, their tails tucked between their legs, trembling like frightened, guilty puppies. As time went by, priests of different faiths joined forces to perform an exorcism ritual and free Charlotte's body from the evil spirit. They recited the most powerful prayers in various languages, but the demon they managed to summon merely mocked them. He even started reciting prayers along with them, deliberately twisting the words to show how futile all their attempts were. After the failed ritual, the clergy had to inform Robin that they were powerless. According to them, it wasn't a simple demon that had inhabited Charlotte's body, but the devil himself. Many pondered why Satan had chosen the young O'Malley. Some priests speculated that Robin might have committed a terrible crime before God, and what happened to Charlotte was punishment for his sins. But, of course, nobody dared to voice such thoughts aloud, let alone ask questions. The Holy Fathers recommended chaining the girl to her bed to prevent her from harming herself or anyone close. Unfortunately, there was no other way, and Robin was forced to take this step. But one night, as he recited a prayer by his daughter's bedside, the girl unexpectedly rose, despite the restraints that held her. She darted out of the house like lightning, and her father chased after her. He managed to catch up with Charlotte near the Doberman's enclosure. With inhuman strength, she bent the bars, grabbed one of the dogs, and snapped its neck. All the while, she looked into her father's eyes and laughed. At that moment, Robin realized that the being before him resembled Charlotte only in appearance. It had nothing in common with his daughter. Looking into the eyes that once belonged to his daughter, the man pleaded, "Whoever or whatever you are, please leave my daughter. I'll give you anything you ask for. Money, my home, even my life. Just bring Charlotte back." But the demon inside the girl maliciously laughed and said that it was Robin who brought him into this body. The man clearly understood what was being referred to, but began shouting that it had been ages ago, and Charlotte had nothing to do with it. After those words, the demon laughed even louder and said, "Do you still believe your daughter can return? You need to talk to your wife." But in his despair, Robin seemed not to hear anything and continued to cry out, demanding his daughter back. Neither pleas nor prayers helped, and Robin slowly began losing hope. But one day, he was advised to seek out a monk, a hermit from Romania. Robin detailed his horrendous story in a letter, and the monk arrived at their home. Assessing Charlotte's condition, he decided to speak privately with the parents. The first question he asked was, "Tell me, where is Charlotte's brother?" The O'Malleys exchanged glances but remained silent. Then the monk said that if they wanted Charlotte back, they had to reveal what happened to her brother. Robin said the monk was mistaken. Charlotte was their first and only child. But the stranger replied that if they continued lying, he would leave their house. That's when Janet burst out. Tearfully, she demanded her husband tell the truth, while he tried to make her stop. With tears in her eyes, she confessed the horrifying secret of their family. She admitted that she was pregnant when they got married. But when Robin's business nearly collapsed, he made a deal with the devil, giving their firstborn soul for success in his ventures. Her husband wept and said he didn't know he would have to give up Charlotte as well. But the monk tried to calm him, saying that now, knowing the true reason, they could attempt the ritual again. the monk prepared the strongest incense, the recipe known only to him, and together with the O'Malleys, he entered Charlotte's room. But when he began reciting the prayers, the demon inside the girl behaved just as before, and the monk couldn't understand why the ritual wasn't working. Robin began wailing in despair, and suddenly, the demon spoke. "I see Janet never told you, did she? Charlotte never existed in this body. After the deal with my father, your wife confused things, and I am their shared child." Suddenly, the demon spoke in Charlotte's own voice. "Dad, I never existed." Well, that's about it. If you liked this urban legend, be sure to like this video. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.